It will be the new year, I suppose, by the time we release this. I can't imagine we release it before Monday.
Well, that would be like, yeah, it's gonna be. So yeah, I guess Happy New Year, Happy 24.
Mhm.
Maybe the world didn't explode. It's kind of 50-50 at this
It
point.
changes day by day. Also, I do have
It's true.
a random question.
Oh,
If you want to get into it,
yes.
are how's the spider situation, and more importantly, did they have hands?
What? I know spider with hands.
Didn't you say you had
Oh, because
spiders?
I did. Yes, I did. Okay. There's like 4 different things because there's the Sephora spider lotion. Have you not heard about
Oh,
that?
that sounds terrifying, and no, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like just kind of a bunch of BS. But the meme is great. Is that there is a Sephora hand lotion that I don't think it's by Sephora, but Sephora stocks it or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm not a Sephora girly, but apparently if you wear it, it attracts spiders because it smells like, and I'm quoting somebody else, a sexy female spider. So I'm pretty sure all of it's BS, but just like the image of that is really good. So now I'm just imagining the spider with hands, just like moisturing up with this like
It's
Sephora
meme fodder. That's great meme fodder.
thing.
That's just good.
Yeah, and like right before recording this, I was telling my husband about it. So that's where my mind was. So when he asked me about that, I was like, were you here? Have you also been following the Sephora lotions?
No, I think you vaguely mentioned at
Oh
some
god.
point that you had a spider situation being handled. So I'm like, how bad are these spiders, and did they
Yes.
have hands? Because those are the worst kind I hear.
No, you know what? Actually, no, they're great. The spiders with hands are great. It's the ones without hands that are tiny, not good. No, we just we have black widows in our area,
Ooh.
so we just get sprayed. We spray the house. And we haven't actually seen one indoors. They're all outdoors at least. But
Hmm.
with things getting colder, you kind of want to make sure they stay outdoors.
Yeah, that's
So
true. I mean, I am, and I think we both are. There's a broad region of the United States that also has brown recluse. And it's not like I've encountered one recently,
yes.
but technically speaking, they are in the area anywhere in the states that we live.
Yeah, I grew up in a house that was infested with brown recluses. Saw
Ooh.
them all the time.
Ooh.
I don't know. It doesn't like I don't like spiders. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck literally all bugs, including butterflies. Go to hell. But it just never. I don't know. You just know how to look for them, and
Yeah.
there's like you just don't leave clothes on the floor, or you shake out your clothes before you wear it. Like I don't know. We never had a problem, and we got them sprayed, like the house sprayed and all that. So it's not like it's we didn't do anything about it, but like for the most part, you catch them before they catch you, and then you just go, "Oh shoot," and it's
Yeah,
gone.
I shake out my
Threat's over.
clothes habitually, no matter what. Not that I leave them on the
Hmm.
floor regularly, but if so, I constantly do that just from hearing stories about brown recluse. And it's
Yeah.
not like they're not an aggressive breed. They're trying to avoid us way more than we're trying to avoid them, even. But still,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So spiders. This is a great episode for the arachno.
we apologize. At least they didn't have hands, folks.
uh, that's true. Well, they're nice. They'll shake your hand. I imagine they talk through sign language. I imagine that's how that works.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, spiders with hands. I don't know how to quite finesse this into talking about Dragon Age Day. That was about a month ago at this point. Maybe over a month, depending on when we're able to get this out.
Just about, yeah.
But, yeah. So, Dragon Age Day. We're a little bit late because we've both been busy. I've been sick a lot. Kids. Surprisingly, I didn't have the flu or COVID. I somehow missed that. Um, Go me. Anyway, so Dragon Age Day came and went, and I'll be honest, it's a little like okay. So there's the trailer. We got like a little teaser, and it had some news on it, but like, um, we got like they hired 3 fan artists to do some things, but we didn't get any short stories. I'm kind of like missing the short stories, to be honest. There's no short stories to talk about this year.
That was a nice touch. I mean, the time that they did, that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I think looking back, it might have only been 2 or 3 years in a row. So really, it's not like they've had to do it every year. But I was looking forward to them, and then they just didn't have any. I was like, oh, okay,
People are starved
nothing
for
to feed me.
story content, and every little morsel is appreciated.
Yes, yes, indeed. So let's talk about the trailer called Thetis Calls. Now you like just sat down and you said you watched it for the second time before recording this.
Yeah, I think I only watched it on the day, and then I was like, okay, that is a teaser trailer. I think there's a comment somewhere that I read when it first came out, like, this is a teaser trailer for another trailer that's 6 months away.
Yeah, basically.
uh,
I guess I want to know what's your feeling on it? Is it just like, okay, this is a thing, it exists?
it's somewhat similar to, I guess, the N7 Mass Effect one, which is like, there's a glimmer of excitement buried deep within me, and this sort of rustles it awake. Um, but it's not full blown excitement yet. This, which is sad to say. I'm kind of like not disappointed in myself, but there's a part of me that wants to be full blown hype for it, and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I'm just not. So that's kind of sad, but it is what it is.
I think I'm exactly in that same spot where I've definitely been. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I have been hyped for less. I've been more hyped for
Sure,
less,
yeah,
and I don't know why. And I don't know if that's just like because with all like the layoff stuff, and there's just kind of like that weird feeling still, or if it's just like where I'm at in my life currently,
yeah.
and we're all kind of there. I don't know. But yeah, it's so if you strip down everything and what does this trailer tell us? It gives us 3 locations for sure. It gives us 4 voice actors, a region of where we're probably going to go, and then like at the very end of this slide, not the slide, the like ending map that's like animated is it has like a lot of other imagery from other places we could go. Andrew Atea or Andy did a lot of work, and she like sat there and like figured it all out, I would say. And like she saw stuff from like the Grand Necropolis. There's like these floating ruins over the Arlothan Forest that are possible. What else did she say? There was like some weird Dwarven statues, so she was like, maybe it's Kalsharok, I don't know. There was like a whole bunch of other stuff she pointed out. She's on Twitter, that you could check out her. I'll link it in the description for this one because she did a great job. Jordan, if you want, I can pull it up for you if you want to see it real quick.
Yeah, that'd be good. That sounds like they did a great job.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah, no, she makes everything just real nice and polished, and so it's nice to look at. It's very easy to read.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's like a little bit. You got the Weiss House, maybe the Deep Rose, Kalsharok, Minrathis, Treviso, all sorts of fun stuff. I'm hoping that this is kind of like this. Which, if this is everywhere we're going, that's a pretty wide area, which we kind of did that in. I
Yeah,
mean, we kind of did it in Inquisition, but like Inquisition also had like a lot of the areas you went to were just like very small areas you haven't heard of before. Where these are like, I mean, if all of these are correct, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 places that are like well named,
right.
like have been in the lore for ages. Versus, Inquisition was like it's the Winter Palace and maybe like a handful of others, but like at least half of them were just kind of throwaway zones. So it's I think they're trying to, if this is indeed correct, they're trying to make it more where people want to go, or people are interested in exploring. I would say
Right. The key
that
kind
would be my
of
guess.
marquee areas within a particular region, country, etc.
Yeah, rather than just having 3 desert areas.
Yeah, well, there's that, but also too. I mean, this is maybe not much of an observation, and it's not surprising to
Mhm.
people who are Dragon Age fans, but it seems like a broad swath of area of the world, which again is
Mhm.
exactly what Inquisition was. But if this is an indication that they're going to continue with that, I'm glad for that. Um, a
Mhm.
lot of people who are playing other sorts of games, maybe where there's a seamless, contiguous open world, that's great for other games, but I don't think it's great for the type of RPG Bioware makes necessarily. And then also, Dragon Age is very much the setting and lore is very politically, it's very steeped in politics, and so you sort of necessarily
Mhm.
need to be able to globetrot, so to speak. And so I hope they continue that method of letting us drop down into various regions.
Mhm. Mhm. What do you? So there's four voices. There's like the crow, the woman that talks about the crows, the gruff man from Ravane, I'm going to say the warden, and then the mysterious voice at the end. Do you have any? Like, who do you think we know any of those people, or do you think they're just like some random
I,
who's a what?
I don't know if I have strong feelings on it, except the mysterious voice at the end was mysterious. I don't know what to say. It definitely. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's probably my reaction. It seems like that's a very prominent position, and so that's an important voice. But other than that, I don't think I had much of a reaction to the four voices.
Yeah. So this is also I'm kind of echoing what like a lot of people have said here. But like the first voice, who I think the voice actress is the same, I can't remember her name now, but the same person that voices Sombra from Overwatch. If you do you play Overwatch? I don't think you do.
I do not, and I know nothing about Overwatch.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know anything about no Overwatch either, but a friend of mine, Kayla, she plays Overwatch. She might main Sombra, I don't know, but she's like, "Oh, it's Sombra." I'm like, "I don't know who the fuck that is."
It's exciting for the Overwatch people.
Woo. Yeah, the Dragon Age Overwatch fans don't overlap watch, but that little bloop, they caught it immediately. So I think there's two like named higher up crows that are female at the moment that are alive. There's Andortea, the in lore one. um and she's kind of a leader of she's a talent of one of the crow houses, Anatore, I forget the last name. So they're trying. Okay, so when they flash up Treviso, you can actually, if you look very very closely, you can see Canary banders because and some of the short stories that were released last year, Treviso is currently being occupied by Canary forces. Um, excuse me. So I think that their situation is going to be driving back the Canary, and that's what she was talking about. And so someone who's like higher up in the crows would make sense. So either Katerina, who's like the main leader of the crows right now, or Endorotea, who's like, I'm not going to say second command, but she's like one of the board members of the crow. I don't know how to explain this to people who don't know crow lore. It's kind of like a mob boss situation where they have like someone who's like the top right now who fought their way to it, and there's like seven
Like a
like
captain.
board members that kind of, yeah, there's the captain, and then there's like, and then each of the members has their own little house and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Also, if you were really into crows lore from Dragon Age Origins, things have changed. So if that didn't make sense, things were rewritten. Sorry.
Okay.
So there's that. So I think that's who the first voice. The second voice with the guy Ravane saying like, "Oh my god," I have no idea who the fuck that is. I don't know who the voice actor is. I don't know who it is. They're just there. It kind of drives me crazy that I cannot figure out who that guy is, because I think I know the others, but the voice actor themselves, I just cannot recognize them. So we're just gonna move on past that one. And the third voice, did you recognize the guy that was talking about the wardens?
No, I did not.
That's Hawk. That's Nicholas Burton.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. I've only watched it twice, but I feel like I should have caught that regardless.
Yeah, no, it's I've seen some people like I want to be polite that I was linked some content of like people like going like, oh, what if it's this, what if it's that, what is so and so. I'm sitting there like, it's Hawk, it's just Hawk, it's Hawk. How can you not hear it? It's a different like performance a little bit than like Dan Hawk, so it's not like exactly, but like I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, and that same guy is in there playing a general, and it sounds very similar performance wise. Raubon, for those who have played that game. So like, yeah, it's like, oh, it's the Raubon voice. I don't think he's playing Hawk. I should reiterate that. I don't think it is Hawk. I just think that it's someone in the Wardens, and Nicholas Burton just got recast as somebody else.
Yeah, which happens often with Bioware and many studios.
Yeah, like he's actually played other Bioware parts. I think he actually is in Origins as like some random NPC. Um and oh, what am I saying? He's oh my god, he's Xenon the Antiquarian. Why can't I say the name right? So yeah, he's played other roles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then I think he as for who it is in the game, I'm assuming it's like a first warden or something, or like a warden leader,
Yeah.
because it cuts to White House and the guy talks as he was a leader. So like, who would it be other than the first warden? Unless the first warden ate shit, and so it's like the second of command, and there's like some sort of chaos or something. Maybe the first warden's evil, and the second in command gotta make his way up there. I don't
I'm
know.
here for Grey Warden shit no
Um,
matter what it is. I'm a Grey Warden person, so I was
yeah.
excited just to just Vice Hop in general and Grey Warden stuff. I'm like, I'm here for it.
Hmm. Yeah, and there's something going on with Weishaupt because it was like stormy, and there's when you read the Bioware blog, it mentions something about like tremors underground. Sorry, I'm coughing more than I thought
No, you're right.
I was. And then when you like look closely at the image, there's like this red blob that we've seen in previous teasers. Like the red lyrium blight flesh blobs that we've seen before
Mm-hmm.
are there, so that's gonna be fun. Um and yeah, so then the last voice. That one, for some reason, that voice drove me nuts because I felt like I heard it before. And I thought I heard it in Final Fantasy, which very long search later, he is in the Final Fantasy game I've been playing, but I haven't actually gotten to his character yet,
Mm-hmm.
but he was in Divinity Original Sin 2. So I think that's where I heard the voice before. Do you remember anything
Oh,
about that game?
yes. And I want to say, like, I agree with you immediately, but I don't remember the character.
So I'm like 99% sure, at least in Divinity, the character was the Shadow Prince. Do you remember him? He's like Sibyl's spoilers for this game, by the way, just like straight up. He's
Oh,
like
okay. Yeah,
Sibyl's
yeah, yeah.
master.
That's a. Did you look? Did you spend a lot of time looking for that, or did you just remember that?
I spent hours.
Okay, because I'm like, God damn!
'Cause-
If you just remembered that, that's amazing.
no, I honestly, it was like in my mind, like I have heard this before, and it was driving me absolutely insane. And for some reason, I really, really thought it was Final Fantasy. So I started looking up any male voice actor in Final Fantasy and looking at their voices, and that took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And by pure coincidence, he actually is in that game. I haven't gotten there yet,
Yeah.
which that blows my mind that ended up working out. And because I didn't want to spoil myself, I was like, okay, what are his older roles? And I'm like, oh, I would probably reckon it because I went to the IMDb and like, what have I like heard before that would like be causing this? And I saw he was in Divinity. His name's Joseph Cap, by the way. I should throw that one out there. He's in Divinity, so I looked it up and I go, yes, that is the exact same voice. That has to be it. He sounds, I think, a little bit older because there's like I think a 7 or 6 year difference between Divinity and now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's or maybe that's just like part of the voice he's doing because I've looked up other roles of his and it's not quite the same sound. But the whatever he did for Shadow Prince, and if I'm completely wrong, at the very least, Shadow Prince sounds just like whoever the fuck this is at the end of the trailer. So, are you looking it up or?
No, I'm just emotionally recovering from the fact that Divinity 2 was that long ago. That's because
Oh, yeah, no, that was another thing because
that happens to
it's
me
been a
often because I'm
while.
like, no, I'm like, Divinity came out in like 2017. I'm like, oh, that was that long ago,
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, which yeah, I think as I was reading this, I'm like, or doing all this work and thinking about Divinity, I'm like, wow, yeah, and then they already released their new game, and like that was in early access like forever
Mm-hmm.
ago, and I felt like Divinity was being carried on to like they like patched that very late after it came out. Like I think there was at least a patch like 2 years after it came out or something like that. Um, and
Yeah, they supported it for a long time, and then also they
a long time.
kept doing patches, but also it was like came out on Switch and did a bunch of other stuff. And so,
I forgot about that. Yeah. So it like if it feels like that hasn't been that long, but it has. I don't
yeah,
know. The time for the past couple of years has been just absolutely
it's
wrecked.
been wonky. Yeah, the fact that we're about to be in the year 2024 doesn't feel right somehow, but it is.
It's nuts. Did you drop or?
No, wait, I'm still here. Sorry, it is nuts.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you died. So yeah, and then that's basically the trailer. As for who the end voice is, my guess is like when you look at like the murals they've been releasing, there's like the two weird figures next to Fenharel, and I think it's one of them. I've always believed personally that it's Gillenon and Elgrenod, so I'm going to say Elgrenod. It could also be someone of the Qunari, but that does not sound like Sten. But I don't know if he's actually leading the current Qunari situation or not. So maybe it's the guy who's actually leading that. Someone said like a Tevinter Magister, and like maybe I just don't think that like they're gonna go for Tevinter God Magister again, because that was basically Inquisition.
hmm
Um and then someone else has said like so Radonus is the current leader of Tevinter, and from the little bit we've seen of Radonus, he just didn't give me that vibe of like wanting to rule the world. He just kind of wanted to stay in his lane a little bit,
Yeah.
or at least publicly. So I just don't think that would be him. Someone else had that argument too, and I completely agree with them. So I guess I would put my money on elven gods, but maybe it's an old god, or maybe the elven gods are old gods, and so it's all the same. I don't know. Maybe it's Lucicon. Yeah, and that's my quick and dirty analysis of the Thetis Calls trailer. That's really all I have. It's really not that much. That's all I have to say on
It's
it.
short. I mean, when I was watching it, another thing too that struck me, and I know like visuals are always a hard thing to gauge for something that's this far out, but from what they were showing, I'm like, and this is not, so I don't mean it, and hopefully it's not taken as like a criticism or even necessarily praise, because I could see people taking it both ways. I go, man, it sure does look like Inquisition. Like just like graphically, like just putting on that hat for a second, I go, well, and Inquisition is an amazing looking game, and it has aged very well. Like it was clearly ahead of its time for 2014. Like I remember thinking for several years after it came out, going, God damn, this is a good looking game. Like this was way ahead of its time for the era that it was in graphically. But eventually, time gets every game, and eventually games start to look a little bit dated compared to, especially as lighting techniques get more advanced. That makes games look so naturalistic. And so, when I saw this, I go, it sure does look like Inquisition, but also there was just enough stylization to that art that it's okay, because if it doesn't look super realistic, it still doesn't mean it looks bad by any stretch. I don't know. I guess I kind of noticed that.
Honestly, I welcome that because so far, I mean, 4 games in the series. Well, there will be 4. So 3 games released, they all look different. So if we at least have Inquisition and Dreadwolf, which are at the very least probably the most connected we've had between 2 Dragon Age games,
Yeah.
they might as well look alike. So I honestly don't mind it. I will also say there are some reused assets in the teaser. In their Ravain shot, there's a statue out to sea, and that same statue is a statue of Andraste that is seen throughout Inquisition, most notably in the Skyhold Chantry. So you Cullen Mancers, when you were hugging Cullen, and there's like a statue in the back, that's the exact same statue.
Huh.
There's also a scene around for Eldens, but it's not Skyhold specific. And I also want to say like the stone texture of like the ruins is very like Skyhold adjacent. It might even be the same. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I didn't go so far to look up the stone texture, but don't tempt me, I might.
Yeah.
So because when I was sitting there looking at that statue, I'm like, I am like 99% sure that's the one from the Cullen romance. And I asked someone to extract the file, and they extract the file, pull up in Blender, put it in the same position. Like, yep, that's the exact same statue. So.
I'm being 100% facetious in this comment. I'm making a dumb little scene, but I would love to believe that there's somebody at Bioware working like as they put these assets together, and somebody kind of like, when somebody walks up behind their desk is like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm making this little piece that's going to go in the teaser trailer. And they're going, you can't reuse the statue of the thing. That Ghildirthalen chick's going to call you out on it. Like, no, there's no way she's going to check. And then they listen to this and they go, shit, she checked.
Shit. Yeah, she even pulled up the goddamn Blender file. I did. Well, I guess I asked someone else too, because the EA app updated like a year ago and I still haven't fixed it, and like Frosty is just being a bitch, so like I've been limping along on the kindness of others to help me extract files. Thank you to everyone who's helped me with my silly questions of, can you pull up this obscure thing and tell me what you see? Thank you. Can you extract this very weird object?
It's a group effort. It always has been in the Dragon Age community. And so how's the because I by chance listened to the last episode, or piece of the last episode that we did, our last episode, and you had mentioned something about how the sort of arrival of Baldur's Gate 3 had taken out some of the activity like within Dragon Age social media circles. Has it evened out a little bit at all? Are people kind of like, all right, we're kind of done with BG3, or no?
So it what's funny is that it was pretty like radio silence in the Dragon Age front until it might have been like 2 or 3 days ago at this point, but there was a Ukrainian fanzine for Dragon Age that came out. And it came out like a while ago, and only like recently where they're like, okay, we sold all our copies, we raised all our money, so artists that had like art in the zine, you can post it on social media now. And just suddenly all of this like art like, they have like a paragraph long, and like I can't read Ukrainian, and Twitter Translate sucks now, so you're just like, sure, yeah, okay, that's a beautiful image with a caption I can't read. Woo. And so like the fandom kind of went wild again, and so we were actually getting some activity. People were posting things to me and linking me things, and some beautiful artwork. Congratulations to everyone who was on that, because it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
And ever since then, there's been a little bit of traction. I think like nature is healing. There are starting to be people who are tired of Baldur's Gate are coming back to Dragon Age. Not that they have to. I want to throw that one out there, but you're getting a little bit more people back, just in time for me to apparently get internet next month, so then I can abandon you all to play Baldur's Gate.
It's okay. We can love multiple games at once.
It's true. I've been playing Final Fantasy, and I still love Dragon Age. Now, that does remind me, I linked you a small little image.
That's true.
I'm going to verbally describe it. I'll have the image on my video on it whenever that's up, hopefully before this video's up, which might be question mark. Okay. Anyway, but it's a very small, like it's an icon with like a purple background and some like golden flourishes on the edge of it, and at the center is like a lighter purple glowing dagger like thing with like a circle, like a not like a ball, but like a circle with like an empty middle.
Kind of like a throwing knife is what I would call it.
Yeah, throwing knife, and it looks nice. The throwing knife is also reminiscent of was it last year's? I think it's last year's Dragon Age Day trailer, where it was like a beginning monologue or something with Varric talking about Solus, and at one point it shows Solus holding up like a dagger, and it kind of looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
So where did I find it, and what is it? So I guess technically I didn't find it. I unfortunately cannot remember the name right now, but someone on the Dragon Age subreddit Discord was able to find the Steam listing, which it is now Dragon Age Dreadwolf is now listed on Steam for you to wishlist if that is your choice. And I also think on some like Xbox and PlayStation stores and stuff like that. There is a website that I'm forgetting the name of, where people just go and like not hack, but what's the word? Scrape the data on Steam and then just listed it like, okay, here's all the images that are on Steam. And that icon is listed there. And people are speculating that is, if you were to download the program, that would be the icon for the game. That's going to, like, you know, for if you have all the, like, currently right now on my desktop, I have the Inquisition, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Origin logos all up on my desktop. That would be what Dragon Age 4 is listed under. Now, I don't know if that's permanent because, like, on the same page, they also have an icon for another game. Oh man, I forgot what the other game is called, but it's, if you watch the Game Awards, it's that one where like the guy gets up there. It has like that moving speech about his father who had died, and he had like a game he was selling about like grief and stuff like that. It's that game. It's also on the listing, but
Mhm.
this one looks very related to Dragon Age. So yeah, this is a sneak peek, I suppose, at the what could be the app icon for Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Well, that's wild. What a significant amount of sleuthing that was done to uncover this.
I know, and it's the fact that that's just on Steam hidden. Like they had to upload that for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is, but that's a common thing that people do, is to kind of check out what's on the Steam databases and then piece together X, Y, and Z from it. But um, yeah, Dragon Age fans or just internet sleuth people are they're active. They're ready at a moment's notice to figure shit out.
You also reminded me there is another thing on the Steam page of interest. I say Steam page, but it's actually also on the blog because it said a couple times. Can I just like quickly find? No. Okay. Hold on. Let me go to the Steam page real quick. All right. So on the Steam page for Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and this same like little sentence, even though altered slightly, is also on the blog.
Mhm.
So on Steam, like if you've never been there, it will have like, okay, here's a trailer and here's some pictures, and then here's like a little blurb of what this is. And at the very end of it, it says, "Now the fate of this world teeters on a knife's edge," and it's repeated a couple times in different sort of Dreadwolf copies. And then with this icon, I think that this knife is going to be like the orb. This is the McGuffin. This is the thing that things. I don't know what, but
Interesting.
yeah, like in Origins, you kind of like the MacGuffin was kind of like what made you the Grey Warden, was the taint, if you will, and then you had the
Huh.
idol, and then you had the orb. And I think now it's the knife. Now, some people do theorize that the knife and the idol are the same.
Huh.
I don't know, but this knife thing, it's a thing.
Why the knife?
So
It does glow. I mean,
digging,
there's that. I'm a very simplistic person.
it does
I'm like,
glow.
fuck it, it's glowing. It might be the thing.
Yeah. No, I will say, if you go into the Deep Lord, in God, was it all the way back in Origins that this codex entry existed? Yeah, I think it was. When the story of the Dreadwolf was when he wanted to lock away the elven gods and the evil elven gods. He tricked them both. And one of the sets, I think it was the good elven gods, he said, "Okay, there is a no, maybe it was the evil ones. I don't know. For one of the set, he said, "Okay, there is a big powerful weapon. It's over here. Go find it." And they went to go find it all together, and he like trapped them and using that weapon. Yeah, it doesn't I believe it I don't believe the codex makes it seem like he used the weapon to trap them, but he used the weapon as bait at the very least. So maybe this is the weapon that was the bait, and maybe actually is useful in trapping the gods in some way. And so when we see it in the opening cinematic, ending cinematic, whatever the fuck it is that we saw last year,
Mhm.
he looks like he's using this knife to break open the fade. Now what is it exactly? Bleh. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of what I would assume where they're going with it.
Yeah. Well, now that makes perfect sense, actually. That would be perfect. And it's the thing. There's always got to be a thing.
There's got to be a thing.
Yeah.
So we get a knife, which there's already been memes made of. Do you remember that like one video of the kid where it's like, "What you got there? A knife?
That's
No!"
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that with like Solus's head, and he's like running around.
That's great. I approve. That's a great meme, old meme.
Yeah. I really hope that just comes if this ends up being like a thing, like there's just a bunch of images with that with that. I'd love that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's I think that is exhaustive on everything I have to say on the trailer.
So going back to Dragon Age Day, I will admit I think it was fully lost on me on December 4th at the moment in time. But the Bioware blog
Mhm.
that was posted, I don't really think it dawned on me that Mark Darrah was
Oh, that he was on there.
on there along with Corinne Bush. Were you surprised by that? Does it matter? Should we even note that he's back on Dragon Age? He is, but he's contract
He,
advisor or whatever.
yeah, he's like a freelancer. Yeah, I don't know anything about business. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe he just missed it, or maybe they pay good. I don't know. You know, I do remember there was a quote once where I don't remember where I heard it, but that Dragon Age is kind of like a pirate ship, and like Mark was the only one ever able to steer it to like
Yes.
completion, if you will, to being shipped. So I'm wondering like how much of that was them going, fuck, we need Mark. Because ever since Mark came back, things have been moving, at least from our end. Who knows?
Sure.
Maybe it was moving in the back end, but like we haven't really heard much until Mark got back on.
Yeah, that analogy about the
Um,
pirate ship has been well circulated now, and I think it's a good analogy. And it's not like it's a bad thing. It makes perfect sense to me, but I just wonder what the untold maybe there'll be a Schreier article a few years from now that will explain it. Jason Schreier article that explains all the behind the scenes, but I'm sure he would love to work on it because it's a franchise that he's helped shepherd from the onset for many years. But
that's true.
what did that conversation sound like when it started at EA slash Bioware upper management going, what if we brought him back? Like, how are we going to bring him back? I don't know. We'll figure something out. Let's do a
Yeah.
short-term thing. Just have him consult, advise, whatever. And then I'm sure once he was there, it probably just got progressively more involved.
Yeah, that's my guess. Because I was he gone a year? I think it was maybe like a year and a half he was gone. But I would imagine it'd be pretty easy to slip back into the role you used to do.
Right.
Maybe there was even some because I believe I also think there was something weird where like when he left, they split his role up into like a couple different roles or something. Like there wasn't like a one to one of like okay, Mark's gone now it's Goldman. But like
That's right. It was
Goldman
like
did
creative director or like 1A, 1B, or like they had different titles, but they kind of split it up. You're right.
yeah. Yeah, so I don't know and like so far the line of like who we perceive as being in the Mark placement, it's Mark Goldman. Goldman got canned. And then it said quietly, but then Corinne came in. And Mark's not at the helm, but he's there. I don't but at the same time, he's apparently not at the helm, but he's the very first person to talk on the blog.
Yes, but it's quite interesting, right? I mean, it's like if he's just
Yeah.
advising, that's a prominent public update about the project, and he's there, and also at least for the hardcore fans, we know who he is, so we're like, oh shit, it's Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't even put his last name. It's just Mark.
uh,
You know who
yeah,
Mark is.
everybody knows.
Come
Come
on.
on. I,
Although
I,
the real thing is like, what if it's like it's not Mark Darrah, it's just some guy named Mark. This is Mark Davids.
Impersonator
You
Mark.
know.
I'm very glad to see him back. As I think most fans are.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really heard much of. I feel like people look at the Bioware blog and then just like didn't read it until the very end when they talk about the thing we haven't talked about yet of reveal in summer 2024. It's like nobody cares about like 90% of this, and then they went to the end, be like, okay,
When can we get?
what's
Yeah,
reveal
what's next?
summer 24 mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any update to the? I think you have been the current prediction is the end of 2024. Is that kind of still what we're thinking?
Yeah. So in the Bioware blog, they say like, okay, we're going to do our full reveal summer 24. What does that mean? That's we'll do like we will give you a goddamn release date. We will give you a release trailer. We will start our marketing up. That's what we fucking mean. And looking back on it, I had the eventually when I get my video out, I'll have the dates up. The very specific dates. But if you look at Anthem and you look at Andromeda, marketing really starts ramping up for the game about 5 to 6 months before release. And if they are announcing that they're going to start ramping up their marketing summer 24, that's easily a game before Christmas, or maybe very very early 2025. But like I was something I say in my I'm going to say in my video, I have it recorded, is you very well could be getting Dragon Age Dreadwolf for the holidays, for Christmas, for Hanukkah, whatever you Festivus, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
You could be opening up a Steam code or game box to Dragon Age Dreadwolf. That is very likely. And that's weird to think to me.
It's
been how long,
very, very
Jordan?
weird. It's going to be a decade. That's what's going to happen. Like, we are going to cross the whatever. The Inquisition was released in November. I don't remember the exact November 14th, 18th, something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah.
It's going to be a decade between Dragon Age games, and that's only bothersome to me now. Once I am playing Dragon Age Dreadwolf, I'm not going to give a fuck anymore about how long I had to wait. That's the weird thing about it, is it doesn't actually, I don't feel, take away from the enjoyment. Like, once you're playing it, you're playing it, and it's just about what the content of that game is.
Yeah.
So I am excited. A lot can happen in a year, though.
That's true.
A lot can happen. Let's just keep our fingers crossed.
There's like a moment of silence where me and you are just like staring off into space, thinking about whatever bullshit.
I don't even want to utter the amount of things that could happen in a year that could throw off this release or whatever. Just all kinds of things.
Can I? There is a thing I'm thinking of, but I'm not going to say it. And instead, I'm going to ask a tangential story of: did you see the sadness that the not the producers, but the game dev team behind Pathfinder? Is that it? Dreadfire?
No, wait. The Pathfinder video games?
Yeah.
Pathfinder Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous are the two that have been. They just recently released the Warhammer 40K video game.
No, that's not it. What were they called? Oh, Pillars of Eternity.
Yes. Pillars of Eternity, made by Obsidian. No, Obsidian was
No, though. Am I thinking of the wrong thing? It was
Yeah, Obsidian made Pillars, and they were purchased by Microsoft.
Then what the fuck was I thinking?
In fact, Josh Sawyer had a great comment recently, but I don't want to take you off track. Who is this studio that's closing?
Yeah, I'm trying to there was some game that you played that you talked to me about that I looked up. It was someone that died. There's been so many shutdowns, I can't remember which one it was.
It's a CRPG though, right? Because you just named Pathfinder and Pillars. Those are okay for sure.
Something.
Paizo is the folks that make Pathfinder, and they just released, like, this December, the Rogue Trader Warhammer 40K CRPG. Looks great, but they're definitely not going anywhere.
Now I'm just listening. Video game company shutdown. It's like which one, Bucko?
Bucko is a great word. Underused, really.
Yeah, sort by date, I guess.
If you're okay, did you find it?
Yeah, it's Versus Evil, and they did some of the Pillars of Eternity, apparently.
Oh wait, so that they were a publisher, were they not?
It's an indie game publisher behind Stoic Studios' Banner Saga and Obsidian Entertainment's Pillars of Eternity. There it is.
Yes, that was the outfit
Yeah.
kind of set up to publish, and it would make sense that I don't know what else they published, but Obsidian is now owned and therefore published by Microsoft, so that doesn't surprise me.
But yeah, that I don't know, just sad.
Well, that's more sad news. I mean, we talked about this on the last episode. It just feels like there's a lot of reduction. It's shrinking, which is weird to say because it's not as though the profits are shrinking, right? I don't know. I'm probably not well informed enough to know about the total market cap of the industry and all that, but I actually don't think video games are going backwards as far as overall revenue, and yet
I thought I read something where, for the most part, it is projected and believed that this has been a record-breaking year for video game
yeah, it
sales.
wouldn't
So
surprise
like
me.
it's been higher than ever,
Yeah,
especially with like such big releases this year. That like you had Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, Baldur's
it was
Gate,
one of the greatest
like
years in
all
gaming
sorts.
ever.
Yeah, Starfield, like yeah, tons of money went into video games this year. But what was it? 6,000 jobs? It was some ridiculous amount of jobs are just gone.
Yeah,
How many studios have shut down? Volition, all sorts of things.
right.
Um, feels bad, man. Just,
It is not great to hear about more news like that for sure.
no. So then, yeah. Hopefully, not to say that Bioware is in trouble, but I hope Dreadwolf does good. I hope that we can play it. It's released into the wild. We can finally have it, and then I hope to God, not that I don't want a Dragon Age 5, but if there's another like mega cliffhanger, and like with the world just as it is, I can't handle another cliffhanger where I just live the rest of my life without knowing what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't do it again. God. Anyway.
I do want to mention this Josh Sawyer quote because it is kind of related. Pillars of Eternity, which was, I think, maybe the best spiritual successor to actual Baldur's Gate. It's weird. We've talked about this before. Baldur's Gate 3, I love it so much, but it is more like a sequel to Divinity 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, than it is to the Baldur's Gate games, and Pillars play more like Baldur's Gate. Josh Sawyer, creative director for Pillars 1 and 2, was being interviewed by PC Gamer, and someone was asking him about Baldur's Gate 3 and would there ever be a Pillars 3, and his basic quote was, yeah, if Microsoft wants to like back up a money truck and and give you the budget for that, like we'll make Pillars 3. He was saying how like he sort of knows from people that he's not going to talk about it, but he kind of knows what the budget was for Baldur's Gate 3, and he's like, yeah, you give me that budget, like I'll make you a freaking I'll make Pillars of Eternity 3, which somebody at Microsoft is crazy enough to do that. I feel like I don't think that's as crazy. I don't think that's as crazy a suggestion.
After the success of Baldur's Gate, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some like weird, like in the next couple of years, we start getting the copycats rolling out. Which, knock on wood, hey EA, Dragon Age Tactics, Dragon Age Tactics, Dragon Age Tactics.
Yeah, 100%. Like they should absolutely do. Microsoft would be crazy not to. Honestly, if you look at the critical success of Pillars 1 and 2, from what I understand, Pillars 2 sold very poorly. Like it was bad. Like as soon as it came out, they're like, yeah, there's never going to be a Pillars 3, despite the fact that critics loved it. You put some real marketing behind that, and maybe you do bump it up to the full voice acting, cinematic touches of a BG3. I think you have a mega success on your hands.
Yeah. It's just if we actually get there.
Yeah.
Which I am wondering how Larian got such a big budget, because like I love Divinity. It was a great game, but like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who played Divinity 2 and was like, hell yeah.
Well, I mean
and like had $1 billion.
Divinity Original Sin and Original Sin 2 were very successful commercially from what I understand, but I think besides that, Baldur's Gate 3 is a licensed product because it's backed by Wizards of the Coast, yes?
Yeah.
So the Dungeons and Dragons war chest, I assume, since that's never been a more popular property than it is now. I imagine that that's the
Ah,
dump truck of money that went into BG3. And also, it's weird, man. Like the discourse around BG3 is so weird because it's almost like people are mad that it was successful or mad that it got a big. But and I'm not saying you, not at all, but just
really?
some people. You don't think that that's in the undercurrent of like even in the Josh Sawyer quote, which I love Josh Sawyer and I love Pillars, man, and I think he should get they should get the budget to do it. But there's this tone of like, well, anybody could do it if they had, and that's not true. Not anybody could do it. I couldn't do it. If they gave me a bunch of money,
Oh, yeah.
I'd just fuck it up. So it's not like anybody could do it. I don't know.
I guess I've only heard like praise, like, oh, thank God this game's doing well, because maybe then we'll see more CRPGs and RPGs in general. That's kind of the tone. Now I have seen a couple people that like for some reason I've seen it's always around like the Spider-Man game of like, how did that win and not the Spider-Man game? But
Well, I can I played
you
Spider-Man
know.
2. It's not as good as the first one. I mean, no offense. Like I love Spider-Man. I really enjoyed Spider-Man 2, all 6.5 hours of it. And then after it's done, it's well, I mean, it's the truth, right? They both cost the same amount of money. One takes you 130 hours to beat. The other one you can beat in 6. And I
Wow.
enjoyed the fuck out of it. I had so much fun. The set pieces of that game and the boss battles are 9.8 out of 10 level good. They are peak gaming experiences. There's just not nearly as much of it, and honestly, I think the overall coherence of the story was better in this first Spider-Man game, which is a testament to that game, not a knock on the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, then those guys can pound sand, I guess.
Sorry, folks. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I get passionate about these things.
No, that's fine. I haven't played it. I look at the superhero when I fall asleep. But no offense. I
Oh,
just
it's coming
not
to
my
an
cup of
end.
tea.
The era of the cape stuff is really coming to an end.
I Jordan, thank God.
You know what? Even as a person who has always liked this stuff in the comics, I agree with you. Like from a standpoint of the movies, they're not good. They haven't been good in a few years now. So yeah, I thank God is right.
I would say like the last Cape movie I have seen was The Avengers. The first one in 2010. And I was like, I think I'm done with Cape movies now.
Yeah.
And then God bless me. 14 years later, I'm still suffering through it. And I don't even hate them. You know, it's fine. I'm glad you guys like it. I was even somewhat interested in the Scarlet Witch thing. I just couldn't be fucked. Because like you skip out on 2 movies and suddenly it's like, well, you can't go into Endgame and not watch 10,000 other movies. I'm like, well, I, joke's on
And
you.
then
I
fuck
just
Endgame,
won't.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at least from like my passive perception, like I haven't seen any excitement about a Cape movie since Endgame, and like that was pre-COVID, right? Like it's been a minute.
Yeah, they could have stopped about there, to be honest. I think the last one that I saw in theaters was that ridiculous Doctor Strange one that they did, which is really sad because that was directed by Sam Raimi, who did the original Spider-Man movies, but that's not, they didn't let him do a real Sam Raimi movie, basically. And I remember I watched it back to back, like went to the theater to watch it, and then immediately went in to go watch Top Gun Maverick afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh my god, like this is a real movie. Like god damn, like it really was just like this shit that Marvel's pushing out. Like these aren't even, they shouldn't even call these movies. Like this is ridiculous. It's so bad. The CG is so ridiculously awful. And
Is
then
it really?
it's really bad. And then you compare it to like the amazing thing about Top Gun Maverick is they all flew the planes. Every single one of them.
Oh,
There's no CG. All those shots you see of them like out of the cockpit are 100% real. It's the most incredible thing. I think it's one of the most incredible accomplishments in the history of freaking movies. Very little of that is CG. Like when there's explosions in the sky, they went in and out, obviously, because that's ridiculous. You can't do that. They added that with CG, but the banking and the turning and all this shit that they captured was captured in camera. Yeah, it's one of the wildest, and it looks amazing because it's real. And so, like, yeah, Marvel movies are not the thing that I think is going to bring people to theaters for the next few years.
I wonder what the next fad will be. Do you think they'll start tapping into anime and we have to live through more like live action anime? Because they already tried that with a couple things. Which I guess they have tried that with a couple things and it hasn't been that successful. So maybe that's not it.
I hope it's the thing with Top Gun. I mean, they really pushed into marketing hard.
Yeah.
It's really them in the planes. This is incredible. I think that works because if you see something that's like a viral video clip of something like that, people want to watch it because of the sense of it being real, I think. You can see incredible things happen with CGI and people don't care, but when you see a clip of like a real thing, you go, holy shit, let me watch this. Some guy dangling off the side of a building or people, base jumping off of skyscrapers or whatever. I think capturing that in movies could work. And I mean, that movie did gangbusters at box office, so.
I don't know how we got here from
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age.
I don't know, but we did.
We did. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. That's all I have too. So okay. I guess overall we are possibly, knock on wood, approaching our last year in the wait for Dragon Age.
Oh my god.
Since this is also the brand new year of 24, I think we should have a fun little guessing game. I want you to look deep inside yourself.
Yes.
And center and focus and project your mind into the future. How do you think it's going to do? Be realistic.
Better than the haters and sort of the most pessimistic people are going to anticipate or give it credit for. Probably not as well as we would hope, though.
Yeah, I think that's probably valid.
Like that's it. The realistic part of it is it's hard for me to say that, but especially when I say as well as we would hope, like the people who have been waiting for a decade. And like it means a lot to us, and we have a lot of emotion wrapped up in it. It would have to be fucking game of the year to really meet that level of waiting and expectation and all of the hopes and dreams we've put into it. I don't think it's going to meet that. I think it could be a very, very good game, though.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning towards, mostly just because of playing like Andromeda and Anthem, and then just like seeing so Inquisition won Game of the Year, and if that's ever posted anywhere, it is immediately met with a bunch of people going, I have no idea how the fuck that won Game of the Year.
It was a weak year. That's what everyone always says. There weren't enough other games that came out.
Yeah, and I love Inquisition so much. So I'm just assuming that not my reaction, not my personal reaction of how I'm probably like going to see Solus and then just like eat the game. I love it so much. I'm just going to I'll be in love, and it's the only thing I'll think about for the next 10 years.
Ghildirthalen ASMR video, Caitie eating the game.
Yeah, this is completely off topic and derailing my point, but have you ever heard of the story of the writer of Where the Wild Things Are? Had the story of like a little kid wrote in that was really cute, and so he wrote the little boy back a picture and like sent it like, thanks for writing, and the mom sent back says, thanks for the picture, the little boy loved it so much that he ate it, and that was like the biggest compliment that he ever got from a kid.
That's awesome.
That's gonna be me in Dragon Age 4.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna get like a game case and just like on screen just gnawing on it. That's that. But I think one, just like knowing who's making the game and like the whatever, they're going to do something like progressive that the conservatives aren't going to like, and so it's going to be review bombed on Steam. And then that's going to lead to some sort of moral panic because we're also in an election year, and that's going to be really fucking fun. Let me tell you.
But you can fuck a bear in Baldur's Gate 3. Like, where are the fucking conservatives now? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I know. No, it never makes sense. It never makes sense. If someone wants some publicity thing and they're gonna drum it up and make it a big. It's like, do you remember how Fox News had a section on how evil Mass Effect
It was
3
Sex
was because you
Box.
could
That
have
was the
sex with an
first one.
alien?
Was the first one was
It was
the
the
thing, and
first one.
Sex Box and Jeff Keighley had to come on, and well, Dragon Age 2 is because everybody was technically bi, but that's the same thing for Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know how BG3 got a pass on the same things.
Well, no, they got yelled at because you could flip your genitals around. There was that.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but nobody cares about sex anymore. We've moved past that.
Sure.
We've moved past the sex.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be something. Yeah, and that's my prediction. And then the game will, I think it's gonna get like maybe in the 80s. And like the people that love Dragon Age really, really like it. You're gonna have some people that are kind of cold on it. There's definitely gonna be a lot of people saying this wasn't worth 10 years or whatever, when you have to say like, well, okay, technically it's only been in development for like maybe like 3 or 4 years because it got rebooted at one
Right.
point. And then there was COVID in the middle.
Right.
So like it's been like this weird, that whole Andromeda situation, because Andromeda also had a weird development cycle. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like it. Probably, I think that it's gonna be, I'm gonna use the word mid for ratings, and then it's gonna get review bombed on Steam. I'm going to make a stretch goal of it at least makes the money back, where it sells really well. And then we're in like this weird state of like, it didn't sell poorly, so we know Bioware's gonna die, but it didn't sell amazingly, so we know Bioware's gonna live, and we're gonna be in like this weird zone of like, all right, are we
Right.
do we get a Dragon Age? Is Mass Effect 4 actually happening or not?
Right.
Like, it's
we're
just gonna sit in that middle.
This is such an interesting thing for us to try and predict, right? It's like, especially what you just said there at the end, which is it's probably, and I agree with you 100%. I don't think it's going to bomb hard enough to know that we're all toast. I don't think it's going to be gangbusters from a money standpoint to know that it's a success. Like, what they really need is a super successful marketing campaign. I can't even say it with a straight face. Yeah? EA can't even fucking market Star Wars, these assholes. Like, it's like, it's not going to happen. It's going to have to be critical success and like word of mouth and like, the community pushing it, because they are not going to slam dunk. And they've never really known how to market Dragon Age. They kind of know how to market Mass Effect. I don't know. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Either Baldur's Gate 3 success is going to, in a weird way, help Dragon Age, because people are going to put it in, oh, it's another game like that, and I like that game, and so let's do that too. Or it's going to be a no, because this is a cheap copy, which is weird, because that's not true if you think about those two franchises. So, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. God. Okay, so I know we're running out of time here, but I want to say, like, let's try to come up with like a weird prediction. Kind of like review bombed on Steam, but like what's another, like, a game gets released, what's a common thing?
I think it's you kind of came out of left field with that political impact on it, but once you said it, I was like, well, you're probably not going to be wrong, which is sad. That frustrates me, because I would like for games to just be totally about the games, but that's wishful thinking on my part.
Which I say that, but if this comes out, there's a good chance this comes out after the election, so maybe it's not going to be as focused on that as I think it might be.
God, I
guess it depends on what release date they go for.
I hope you are right, Caitie. I don't even want to touch U.S. politics, but that's like,
no, I don't fucking either.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen, but I think that in some sense that's also kind of fun, because it's not going to be predictable. We don't have a crystal ball, and
well, I want to take the sorry, I'm in my hand, I'm holding like my hand sanitizer, and like it is a Ghoul Friend by Bath and Body Works, which has a crystal ball on it. So I was like, oh, that's ironic. Sorry. So I have my little crystal ball apparently, and put that down. And I'm trying to think of like what's like a weird thing about this release is going to happen, and I'm going to say, what's a weird thing? It's not because like Inquisition had like they did a dual release of the systems, and so like that kind of fucked with it. Where I say dual release, it had like the previous gen and the next gen
Hmm.
that it released for, and that fucked up some things. I don't think they're gonna do that. Um, what's like a weird thing that could happen? What's been going on with releases? Oh,
I think I have one maybe, and I hate to say it, but I games don't ever seem to come out well optimized from a performance standpoint, and I just
that's a good
a
one.
lot of times when and I don't know anything about the technicalities of how maybe that'll happen or it won't, but if a game's been in development for a long time, if they're having to you know push to get something out at a certain release. I don't know. I just kind of have a feeling that it wouldn't
Mm,
surprise me that this game comes out and maybe the content of it is very strong, but it doesn't run well on
poorly
whatever system.
optimized.
Yeah,
Yep, that's okay. Yeah, poorly optimized, especially on PCs. That's probably going to be. I mean, that's every game now. Even Baldur's Gate had that
it
problem.
feels like it is, and it really
Um,
sucks as being a PC gamer that that happens.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's that. I think I was going to say kind of a joke answer, but Dragon Age Dreadwolf for Switch too. Just way out there.
I mean, that could be amazing. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Switch 2, man. I'd love to see it. I would, as much as I love Dragon Age and the Switch, I would never buy. God, if there is a Dragon Age Dreadwolf Switch port, though, holy shit, holy
I
shit!
don't know. I
Can
mean,
you imagine?
like,
Do you remember The Witcher on the Switch and what that looked like? Oh goodness.
yeah. Well, that was tough. But on Steam Deck, I know it's a completely different piece of hardware, but it's like Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of fun handheld. I don't know.
No, I look handheld. Great. I really hope there's some sort of handheld version. But like the Switch, the like I have a Switch and it's power. Oh honey,
Yeah, no.
it's just a little
It can stutter on
baby. It
Animal
can't do
Crossing.
it.
Like if you have too much
It
crap on
does.
screen, it's
It does, and I do. And it's we my husband and I are really into like the Picross series where we play pictograms basically every night.
yeah.
And if we're both doing like a long line of dots, it just the game lags. It's pictocross. What the fuck is it loading?
Well, I mean, Switch 2, we don't know. I mean, there's been some weird leaks about the fact that they are going to definitely try and up its up its capabilities, and also what are they?
Hmm.
It's going to have FSR 3 maybe or something like that to do like up sampling to get higher resolutions than what it actually is processing, etc. Who knows? But the
Hmm.
rumors have been that they might surprise us with how graphics capable it is. Who knows if that's true?
I don't even care about the graphics. I just don't want to have an Animal Crossing, you know, take 10 years to load anymore.
Oh, that's true.
That's all I've ever wanted.
That's true. They got to get an
I used
SSD
to
in
I
there.
used to I've kind of slowed down in Animal Crossing. I probably haven't touched it in like a month. But I know, look at me go. And I used to, when I log on, I was like, okay, I'll start the game, I'll go to the bathroom, maybe like play with the kid a little bit, and then sit down. And now it's finally loaded.
Oh, damn.
It takes a minute. It was a while. All right. Anyway, that we went everywhere today, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was a little bit. It was a little bit of Dragon
Sure.
Age teaser, and then a little bit of whatever you like.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, new year. Hopefully, I'll actually have internet. I have an appointment to get things installed. Apparently, on the beginning of the month. Actually, by the time this episode comes out, I might have it. We'll see if luck is in my favor,
Ooh,
and there's not like some weird bullshit that happens. And so eventually, I'd like to try streaming again and like get things back up, and hopefully things go well. But um, yeah,
I'm saying it. You're not saying it. But if you said the words Baldur's Gate 3 stream, people would lose their shit.
I know. Would you wanna like a co-op situation or like, nah, not really?
That might be, that might be very interesting. That's all I'll say. It could be a lot of fun, actually.
Okay. 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 Well, we'll think about no promises because also that game's like 100 billion
Yes.
hours long, and so maybe we start it and then like that this is it. It's like a 2-1 or 2 off of
Yeah.
it. You know. So we need something to play in the perhaps a couple months before I start streaming Dragon Age. I also will say a PSA. It's been 10 years waiting for this game. My first playthrough of Dragon Age will be for me and me alone, and not going to share it with because
That's the way it
I feel
should
like
be.
when I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're streaming, you're kind of like riffing on it a little bit. Like you're like your mind's in 100. I want to be in the zone. I want to be there.
You
I don't want
should.
to talk to. No one talks to me. I don't have a family. I don't have a kid. I don't have friends. I have Dragon Age.
That's what you should do. I agree.
Yeah, that's. I've been waiting 10 years, and I want that experience, and that is for me. No one can take it from it. But then after that, after I do a playthrough, then we'll get wild. But yeah.
Nice. All right, Caitie, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube as Ghildirthalen. I am sometimes active, depending on the weather. Where can they find you?
Oh, they can find me.
Can they find you?
Well, no, not really. But in theory, they could find me at the Exalted March on YouTube and Twitter. It doesn't matter what the weather is because I'm not on there.
Ooh. Oh. I had. Oh God, this is dumb and just. Sorry, I'm in Walmart the other day.
For a second, I was like,
walking around.
Did she forget she's supposed to say Darrah Sharal? Okay, this is a story.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was about to say Darrah Sharal, and then I remember there was something I wanted to tell you. You can cut this out, or it's like at the end of the episode or something as a fun thing. I'm walking in Walmart the other day, and I have like a hand-me-down. It's like the very first fucking iWatch that someone like my mom got and then like gave to me because she didn't use it. Yeah. And so I'm walking around, and I get like a buzz buzz, and I look down, and it says LeBron James is now following you on Twitter. I'm like, what the fuck? And I have my Twitter set that only at like a certain amount, like a high amount of followers, I only get tagged in. So I'm like, surely not. And I go on my phone, and it's not LeBron James because his thing is like King James, but it is like some account that like just retweets like LeBron James news.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And has like 500,000 followers, and like Red Letter Media follows them for some reason. So I'm like, what the fuck? A
long time ago, was it during the Tamar streams? We had some fucking thing about LeBron James.
Yes. Yeah, no, this is going to sound so unhinged to people that didn't watch that, but Tamar had LeBron James' baby called James or Baby James.
That's what it was.
It sounds so unhinged.
It really does. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, because we found a pregnancy mod, and who else would it be other than LeBron James? Who I think that was when he had just come back to Akron.
Yeah, maybe it was. I'm not sure. I just that's a wild pull. That's way back.
Yeah, well, I'll have to say I don't live there anymore, so I feel comfortable saying that. The only reason I even knew who LeBron James was, I was actually living in Akron at the time.
Oh wow, yeah.
So like there was this whole big parade about LeBron James.
He's
I'm
the
like,
king
who the
of
fuck
Akron.
is this guy? Yeah. Everyone, like, he had a school, and like I was working with little kids, and the little kids were like, LeBron fucking James. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
What's even weird is we were making jokes about LeBron James's kid, and now his kid is like a legit college basketball player.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. Bronny James is like a top prospect. He plays at USC.
I am sad his name isn't James.
I think
James.
James. Yeah. All right, that was a good story.
That's all I got.
Okay.
There you go. All right, the end. Darrah Sharal.
Darrah Sharal.